Humans are creative, it just comes with the territory. And if you don't believe you're creative, if you don't think you're worth anything, then fuck you. You are, even if you don't know it yet. If the traditional mediums have failed you, there are 1,000 more made possible by this modern age. Tinker a bit, trust me, it'll come to you. Creativity makes life much more fun. Except when it doesn't. Violently. Ideas are like apples on a tree, only falling when they are ripe for the picking, and also at a time they deem most inconvenient, like 10:30 on a Friday night. We wait under this tree patiently, sometimes for months, until suddenly one hits you, and now you've come up with a brilliant theorem called gravity, or you've suddenly thought of a delightful premise for a fantasy series called The Lord of the Rings, or a space movie called Interstellar, or whatever else. Eventually, though, we tire of this patience game and start shaking at the tree's base. Where are my ideas, you demand, and one or two tear off from the branches. They're a bit green and hard in some spots, but no matter, they'll do. Maybe you keep this up for a while, maybe it works. Maybe you engineer a formulaic industry around this tree, wiring errant machines to wring the foliage of all its secrets. But the tree begins to bear less and less fruit. The apples are smaller now, or oddly colored in places. No longer simply immature, but brought to fruition before the birds could even prune such rot. No matter, into the machine. Slowly and surely, the tree begins to wither, its stalk grays, its leaves shudder and thin, the once bountiful fruit now more limited than ever, until they seem to stop flowing altogether. You wail and lament, you've killed it! The decrepit apple tree, once stood tall and wide and proud, now hunches over its huddled mound of dead leaves. You've killed it. Industry breaks down, your machines unable to function, skies dim, horizons close in, and the great judging eye of God looks down upon you in fury. How I should have taken better care, you cry. I've killed it. Never again shall a creative notion grace my palm. I'm bankrupt. I'm worthless. I'm a monkey dancing on a rock who's just realized his place. I'm a one-trick pony masquerading as a parade, worthless, unlovable, destined to die alone and unknown. There's no future for me, no grass of green waiting beyond my day's work. You convince yourself it's over, that the tree was your one shot, and now you've killed it. Bumbling, idiotic klutz, you've burned down the one thing you felt a sense of pride in. You've cashed in all the creativity you're gonna get, and now it's all gone. Exhausted, vamoose, never to return. Overworked the tree and left it barren, and dead, and worthless, and fuck to hell and back. Not that anything you forced out of it was good, anyway. Spent all your time idealizing that one golden apple, that one plated idea, so that once it came to you, finally, in a flurry of written jewels, nothing else could compare. You had done it. You said you'd be happy after, but you weren't. So instead of coaxing more of those hidden gems, you sawed away the branches holding them within, settling for apathetic mediocrity instead. You idiot, you fool, you worthless nobody. And now the tree's dead, and it's never coming back. So there you sit, under the tree, and wallow and lament and cry and wallow some more. Enough self-pity to drown a man. Your days are dark and forgettable, your meager attempts at trying again falling flat. But then an apple hits you square on the head. You pick it up, examine it. This one is red, actually. Really red. A quality you haven't seen in a long, long time. Of course you'll bite. So you make to your desk at now 11 at night and write. You write of burnout, of space, of some weird story interlaced with essays. Not sure what to make of that one yet. As you work, you notice there may be some flecks of gold in that apple. Maybe you still got it. Maybe the tree isn't dead forever. Maybe you'll throw in a bit of a meta line to be sure they get I'm talking about me right now. And of course, you swear to never treat that poor tree the same again, just like last time. January 1st was not a great day for me. January 2nd was much, much worse. I had never quite understood how bad creative burnout can fuck you up, but it really can. Personally, I've been trying to reconcile my albeit lacking similarities to another YouTuber called Exerbia, whom 90% of all my comments have repeatedly told me I am functionally the same as. Some point this out in a comedic sense, as a compliment, or as criticism, all of which are valid in their respective fashions. However, on January 2nd, I was not in the best of moods anyway, and therefore sustained a slight, massive identity crisis, which entailed blacking out at my desk for 3 hours and waking up to a 10-page essay that is either a stroke of genius or the dumbest thing I've ever written in my life. I'm not sure which. All I remember about my thought process of the time was something akin to, "You want different? I'll fucking show you different." It was quite odd. But that essay, interwoven with short stories tied to a greater narrative on what it means to be human or something, had a special ingredient none of my others for a long time seemed to contain. It had passion. A lot of it. My best works are labors of love, many of which I'm frankly too scared to show the internet. The very few things across all my channels that have performed well, to any considerable degree, are things I've had fun doing, or had an extreme passion for. Because that's what art is. It isn't some idea farm to be exploited for views. It isn't some haughty tapestry only to be hung in the stuffy halls of academia. It's expression, it's passion. No one lives their days doubtless of themselves. If they do, they probably aren't an artist. Or they're lying. I guarantee you every single great and every single inspiration to you has days when they genuinely hate themselves and wish they had never picked up a pen or a brush or a keyboard. The stuff you know them best by is probably their 11 p.m. rant about space or creativity or whatever it is. Giuseppe Tartini, the composer of The Devil's Trill, woke up in the middle of the night convinced the devil had taught him the most beautiful composition ever conceived, and was furiously set on writing the damn thing down, creating a uniquely masterful art piece. The man supposedly died convinced his version was nothing, literal shit, compared to his dreams. Point being, we're artists. We're all a bit loony, us creatives, and fun fact, no human is uncreative. Does your dog paint scenes of pain? Does your cat ask, why are we here, father? Does your goldfish ever ponder the intricacies of existence? I bet not. That's a uniquely human thing for whatever godforsaken reason. We can perceive beauty, capture it sometimes, and if we're very, very lucky on those rare occasions, create it for our very selves. It comes at the cost of questioning ourselves and our motives, and sometimes it warrants us driving our heads up our asses and planting our feet straight into the trodden path of, don't do this, you blockhead, you've done it before, and look how that turned out. It comes at the price of existential fear and banging your head into the desk and late nights staring up at your ceiling wondering where you went wrong. That's the unavoidable reality of humanity, unfortunately. That's the admission fee, I'm afraid, to becoming an artist. That's the torment of creativity. But you aren't alone, my dear artistically depressed friend. We're all in this boat together, us humans, us artists. We're not going to let it sink on you. And if it's any comfort, the fact that you're here, the fact that you believe nothing you've ever done is worth any of the time, and that you're a big, fat, dumb idiot, just means that you're walking right alongside the greats already.